Hello, hello. You know, y'all have gotten so much better at this. I know it's been so long. I've missed you all. It's been a whole 15 minutes. But I'm really excited because I get to introduce someone that I'm a fan of just as a general person, but also just an amazing performer. He is currently in a little amazing, and by little I mean huge movie called Rocketman. He was in a movie called Kingsman. There's a movie called Sing. And I'm delighted that he was able to come in today and do this panel, as well as meet with all the fans at Ace Comic-Con in Seattle. Taron Egerton.
Wow, hello. Thank you. Thanks so much for staying at the end of the day, guys.
I'm excited because this is the last panel.
I know, right? Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
And you flew in just to hang out with the fans today.
I did. I feel like a bit of a space cadet, but I'm trying to stay perky and fresh for you all. It's like half midnight in the UK.
Would you say that you feel like a rocket man?
I do a little bit, yeah. See what you did? That's very good. It's very good. It's very good.
I couldn't help myself. Last time we were on stage, you couldn't talk a lot about the movie.
Yeah.
You did give a little bit. It's a musical, and I have to say, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Since then, there's been an enormous press with Elton John. You have done duets with Elton John.
I know. Surreal, eh? Very strange.
You even have a soundtrack that's all you singing.
Yes. Yeah.
You learned how to play the piano.
Sort of-ish.
Where do you, and I know that you have an affinity for Elton, you have an affinity for Elton's music. Where do you begin basically playing one of your superheroes?
I don't know. I mean, I think as with any role, you have to fall in love with the person you're playing. You know, even I'm sure Josh would agree, even if you're playing a real villain, you have to, the great thing about Thanos was that he's got a perspective, he's got a point of view. So although he's diabolical and dreadful, God, it sounds like I'm saying Elton's diabolical and dreadful.
I have heard you call him naughty, but none of those other things.
He is very naughty. Yeah, I think it starts from a place where you essentially have to fall in love with the person you're playing, so that every moment that you have to live and breathe feels personal and true and real to you. So I spent time with him. I spent a lot of time in studio learning kind of, what makes him tick musically. Yeah. And honestly, it's just been the most creatively rewarding, satisfying experience of my life, really. Honestly, I've been so lucky to have such special and different opportunities in my 20s as an actor. But this really has just been special, and I've loved it. And I'm so, so proud of the movie. I really, really am.
Yeah. And it was the first time that you had to shave off all your hair?
Yeah, so they did unspeakable things to my hair. But it
looked great on scene, on the screen.
It was great, yeah, and we painted this sort of gap into my teeth, and we beefed out my eyebrows, and it meant that in the morning when I, was ready to go to set, you kind of look in the mirror and you don't feel like you feel like someone else. And as an actor, that's really creatively exciting, yeah.
I love it. Well, was there anything as a performer in particular that you are proud of in this role?
Lots of things. For me, I love to sing. I did that movie Sing a few years ago, and we're working on another one. And so singing's been a part of my life for a while. But I loved exploring all of the music. But there are so many elements of it that I'm proud of. The studio were really supportive in allowing us to make a movie that puts Elton's sexuality front and center, doesn't shy away from his difficulties, which are well documented. So I feel like it's a movie that has a certain amount of integrity. It's not compromised by its, Elton has a very wide fan base, but I don't feel like at any point it turned into the commercial nature of the endeavor never compromised the artistic side of it, I feel, which means that, there's a ceiling on what it will make at the box office, but it also means that it's a movie that I think has integrity. Yeah. So I'm proud of that. Yeah.
So I know you've been asked this question a million times, but folks may not know. Do you have a particular Elton song that is your favorite?
I mean, so many, for so many different reasons. I do love Someone Saved My Life Tonight. Someone did a very beautiful painting for me today of me with butterflies around it. I mean, so many people did. Thank you for all of your gifts. They are stunning and it's overwhelming. But I love Someone Saved My Life Tonight. I love Your Song because it's one I did totally live on set, which was something that was very important to me. And I love Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. I think that's a very exciting sequence in the movie.
And you have a history with Your Song, like that.
I do, yeah. So 13 years ago, when I auditioned for drama school, Your Song was my audition piece, actually, which is weird. It's funny how things come back round.
Full circle.
Full circle of life. Did you see what I did there?
I was gonna make a golden circle. But
you were gonna make a golden circle. You're gonna segue into the Kingsman. Hey.
But before we do that, today being Pride,
Yeah.
and you mentioned how open the movie was about Elton's sexuality, which I thought was revolutionary, particularly because we see so many movies that shy away from that. But I think because it's such a big part of Elton's life, was so necessary.
Yeah.
What has been the response from the LGBTQ community?
I mean, it's been largely incredible. I think, there are... Oh, God, without the risk of getting... I mean, today's a fun day, but the risk of getting very serious, there's sometimes questions about whether heterosexual actors should portray gay roles, and I completely hear that and understand and sympathise to a point. I think actually, I think that it's complicated. It's very complicated. I think it's a complicated, sensitive issue, and there is no clear-cut answer. But I do feel that we really we didn't shy away from that, and I feel like what was very important to us was making something that the LGBTQ community would feel a sense of ownership and pride in. So in that sense, I don't feel like I've actually got a great deal to apologise for, if I'm completely honest. But that's my honest feeling. But that's not to say that I'm dismissing the opinion and the viewpoint, because I hear it. What did you ask? I've gotten lost in my own answer.
I think you answered it. It was great.
Yeah, but I think that's the movie. The movie feels very gay, I think, and that's and I'm really proud of that.
And all definitions of the word.
Yeah.
So Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
Switching over.
Yeah.
Last time we talked, we both know that we're huge fans of Jim Henson.
Yeah.
We're huge fans of Dark Crystal. We have a date.
We do have a date, yeah.
I was very excited. I got an alert when that date came up. I was like, August, I got you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything else about your character or the movie?
Yeah, I mean, what I can say is that I think for anyone who's a fan of the original movie from whatever it was, I think 1983 or something like that, the techniques they've used to put this series together, I think, are very, very faithful to what Jim Henson would have done himself. Obviously, there are elements of CG augmentation that have happened, particularly with regards to environment and giving it scope and scale. But it's very, very faithful. It's all the characters are all puppetry, so it's got this kind of real nostalgic feeling to it, but they're also able to do things that they wouldn't have been able to achieve 35 years ago. So it's kind of weird and kooky, and they've got this incredible cast, and it's really good. I actually finished working on it 3 days ago.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really cool.
So you mentioned you love to sing.
I do.
For those who don't know, the entire soundtrack is basically Taron singing, which is fantastic.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that you did sing the songs from Rocketman. It really is you, even though you are honoring Elton.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix.
Yeah, and Do you feel like there are more singing, more voiceover, more animated? Obviously, you just said you're working on another thing with the Sing.
Yeah.
Is that something that, I mean, you seem to really enjoy it.
I do, yeah. I think, if I'm totally candid, I think there's a pressure with live action films to sort of look a certain way and, be kind of, the guy and and it's not really who I am all of the time. And the thing I love about animated work.
No safe.
Yeah. The thing I love about animated work is it's just about creativity, and you don't have to worry about being cool or kind of looking a certain way, or it's just about fun and kind of creativity, and I really, really, really enjoy it for that reason. And I love characters. When I was a kid, I would endlessly draw characters and create my own characters, and that's what I thought I wanted to do for a long time, was work in animation. And so I think when the opportunities started to arise to do voiceover work, it just kind of fulfilled that bit of me, really.
Yeah.
And I think I am just a big kid as well, so I like kids' things.
No one in this room is complaining.
No, well, I think that I'm in the right place, I think, yeah.
So I promised I would ask a Kingsman question.
Yes.
Folks are dying to know when Kingsman 3 is coming.
Yeah. So you have The Kingsman coming, which is a prequel set around 100 years ago, and I'm not in it. But I do know some stuff about it, and it's really, really exciting. It's got an amazing cast, and it's an amazing story. And then I think we'll be doing the final chapter in the Harry and Eggsy trilogy next year, I think. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. There was a fan question that came in. So you've done Kingsman, you've done Robin Hood, you've had these very action-packed roles, and when you hear you're doing an Elton John story, at first you're like, oh, this is great, it's a musical. And then once you see Rocketman, you're like, oh, he's doing a lot of physical things in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, you fly, you levitate, you jump into a pool and sing underwater.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah.
Do you feel
Not
like...
spoilers, if you haven't seen it yet, what have you been doing?
Point taken, the movie theater is open after Ace is closed tonight. Do you feel like those roles the roles where you had to do a lot of stunts prepared you for this? And do you feel like there was, and I hate to call it a stunt, I mean, it's choreography, technically it is a stunt that was most challenging, because honestly, singing underwater was gorgeous.
Yeah, I think the one thing about Elton is he's such a high energy persona, and he's got this like incredible duality between being this very vulnerable, quite sensitive, tortured artist, but then he's also this fantastically expressive, swaggering guy as well. Yeah. And I think those physical roles help kind of prepare you for something that feels a bit more major key and elevated. And then obviously, Matthew Vaughn keeps dunking me underwater in Kingsman, so I think helps with doing something like the Rocketman sequence in the film, which is me underwater at the bottom of a pool. And that I'm actually 20 meters down there when I'm singing at the bottom of that swimming pool. And I go down for like 15 minutes at a time. And
how does that process work?
So at the start of the day, you're really terrible at it, and you find that you can get a bit panicked, and you keep having to swim up. But the thing is, you're so deep that you can't swim up quick because the pressure ruins your ears. You can really damage your ears. So you have to come up slowly, breathing with a regulator. But it takes a certain amount of time, and over the course of, I don't know, say sort of, whatever a filming day is, 12 hours, you find that by the end of the day, you go to a kind of zen place where you can achieve far, far longer periods of time down there. And, you'll go down, you'll do a take, and they'll ask you if you want to come to the surface, and you'll sort of say, no, I think... Well, you won't say anything because you're underwater. Yeah. But, you'll signal that you're able to stay down, and they'll bring you a regulator, and then, you'll do another take. But it's a great challenge, and, it's such an incredible job acting and being in films, because it's so different and varied all the time, and particularly on a movie like Rocketman, which I do think in my opinion, it's probably been the happiest, most rewarding role I've played so far, and which is odd to say about someone who's had such a turbulent life, but not only has it been such an incredible emotional journey and there's been the music of it, it just goes to so many different places, you know. Even in that one song, Rocketman, I start off at the bottom of a pool, and by the end of it, I'm at Dodger Stadium performing to tens of thousands of people, and it's, you know, it's just been a magical, wonderful thing, really.
Yeah. So, I hear that you have at least one piece of one of your costumes from Rocketman.
Yeah, I have a couple of things. I have that denim jacket from Tiny Dancer, which I just think is very cool. I love that gets a cheer.
I mean, it looks very sporting on you.
No, thank you. I love it. And then I've got some other things. Oh yeah, I've got an earring. Well, no, Elton gave me his first ever diamond earring, which he bought in like 1973, and he gave me it about a year ago. And I mean, it's a massive rock, and I still can't believe I've got it. And I wear it in all of the rehab clinic scenes. So I love that. Oh, and also, it was Elton's birthday earlier this year, and I didn't know. It's like, what the hell do you get Elton John, you know, for his birthday? And so I asked the studio and the costume designer, Julian Day, if I could have the glasses from your song, which I always thought were very cool. And I gave them to Elton. I had Elton's reading prescription put in them, and I gave them to him for his 72nd birthday. And if you watch the video for the duet that Elton and I did for the movie I'm Gonna Love Me Again, when he's recording his vocal, which you see in the video, you can see he's wearing them. It's so cute. He wears them when he's doing his crossword, when he's traveling around touring. So yeah, they're the bits that I've got and I kept. You know.
I really hoped you would have said the Dodgers.
Oh, do you know what else I've got?
I'm so excited.
Do you know no, the Dodgers thing? No, I can't pull. But I have. So you know the Crocodile rock sequence from the movie, the troubadour sign, the big blue neon troubadour sign. Somehow, when we were filming it, Richard Madden said to me, he said, "You should take that home, put it in your kitchen." And I went, "That's not a bad idea, Richard." And I got it. It's at home, and it's in my kitchen on my wall. So I have that as well.
I was hoping you said the romper, but that's fine.
The what?
The overalls you were wearing.
Oh yeah. No, they didn't do wonders for my bum though. So.
Oh, I was trying my best not to make any bum or thigh jokes on this stage.
It seems to creep into most conversations I have.
Thick thighs save lives, Taron.
Thick thighs save lives.
I am okay. It means you have lots of endurance. I'm all right with it.
It's all about them squats.
It also looks great in spandex.
Yeah.
And you wore a lot of
This is
stretchy, fitted material in that movie.
Yeah, this is true. I do seem to gravitate towards roles that have glasses and really skin-tight, unflattering costumes.
I am going to say that every single person in here who's a fan does not think it's unflattering.
Thank you.
One of the other things about Rocketman, and also just about a lot of the movies that you've done, these sequences are really long. They're shot from so many different angles, or, you know, being underwater. Like, that is something that you really have to take time to do. Do you feel like there was a scene that was most challenging, or the one that you were like, yes, we got it, this is amazing, most rewarding for you that you did in any of your movies?
I don't know, for like different things. With Rocketman, there were different moments where I think because when you're making a film, I think when it's good, not everything is planned to the letter. You feel like you stumble across things and surprise yourself, and there's a kind of a spontaneous atmosphere with things. And I remember in Rocketman, just that moment where they put a shot of vitamin B12 in my arm, and I'm miserable, and they put a cap and glasses on me and hand me the baseball bat, and they used it in the trailer a lot. It was used a lot in their marketing for the film, but I just sort of did this weird spin and put this smile on, and I think when we watched that sequence crudely tied together on set, I think I didn't I could never quite see the sequence. And when I saw it all together, you know, because it had been masterminded by Dexter Fletcher and George Richmond, our DOP, and I watched it and I was like, wow, I think that's quite special. And I think that I feel very proud of, because it goes through so many different places and it does so many different things, but it also says so much about the character and where this character is. It's got a humanity to it as well as a cinematic quality. I'm speaking in a really grand way about a movie that I'm the lead character in, but I'm very proud of it. So I think that springs to mind. And then, you know, I suppose, you know, when I was whatever I was, 23, 6, 7 years ago, and the first time I saw Colin's church sequence in Kingsman, I was just like, you know, I just couldn't process it, you know. Matthew showed me it, like, and he knew it was good, you know. He just sort of spun the laptop round and went, watch this. And I was like, oh my word. So, you know, I do feel in many respects that I feel like I've had a charmed past few years, you know. I'm from a small town in Wales. No one in my family has ever acted. No one in my family has ever worked in film. I don't think anyone in my family has ever earned over £30,000 a year. So, you know, to find myself in the position I find myself in, you know, where, like, I sometimes duet with Elton John, is, you know,
no
it's
big
like,
deal.
No, it's like I feel even today, you know, being here and meeting all these wonderful people and signing these things, I kind of perpetually feel like a competition winner, and it's an amazing, amazing life. And it's just, the only thing is that I have nightmares about it all ending all the time. I have nightmares about it ending, yeah, because you just feel like. You just don't, you know, it doesn't feel like your life. Do you know what I mean? I've just been chilling out with Josh Brolin backstage. It's like, it's weird. It's just a weird life.
I mean, yeah.
But very lucky.
Just chilling with Thanos.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it the same way that I did last time. We're going to bring out the Q&A mic slowly, and we're going to walk very slowly to the mic, and we're going to be extremely polite. And we're going to introduce ourselves and tell, since Taron just told you where he's from, please make sure you say your name and where you're from, and one question only.
Okay, that's my seat.
Hey? Wait till you're at the front.
Normally
we'll
I have
better.
Spidey hearing. I definitely didn't get that one.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm Megan. I drove here from Dayton, Ohio area.
Okay.
It's wonderful to see you. And my question is, so Elton John was in Kingsman too. At what point did you start talking with him about portraying him in a movie?
I think, to be honest, it happened through Matthew Vaughn, really. Matthew Vaughn has been an incredible champion of my career, and most of my, pretty much all of my high-profile roles have been through him. And he knew that I could sing a bit and was interested in singing. And I think, you know, he knew that there was this script called Rocketman, and it was a musical, and it had this, and I think, you know, he loves Elton. He's a proper fanboy of Elton, and he just put two and two together and got this idea. So I think it was on the set of Kingsman 2 that he first asked me about how I felt about it. And obviously I was incredibly excited. I'm a huge fan of Elton's and a huge fan of... I like how he's just unapologetically himself, and that's incredibly appealing as an actor, to play someone who... Sorry, you know, it just gives quite that little of a fuck, actually. Sorry, pardon my language. You know, kind of... Sorry, you know, so I'm aware there's children here. I do apologise, but, you know, and then there's all... Sorry, that was bad. But yeah. So it was an incredible opportunity, and one that I feel very blessed to have had. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Hi. My name is Keiko, and
I know. I've met you about 5 times today. How are you? All right.
I'm very happy.
And your friend is called Takeo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's Chloe there. I can see Chloe. Yeah.
Wait, is Chloe in cosplay?
Yeah, Chloe's dressed as like she's from the Troubadour. Okay, let's wait anyway. Let's wait. We'll get to you.
Sorry. Thank you for your great work, and I think you have a strong identity as Welsh, but it's my opinion. If so, how your background as Welsh influenced your acting?
I think the big thing is singing. So in Wales, we have a big tradition of singing and being in choirs. So, you know, when you get to sort of about 10, 11, they encourage you to sing in choirs at school, and I always loved it. I loved particularly, you know, like Welsh male voice choirs, and I always found that sound very enchanting and exciting. And I just fell in love with singing at a very young age. And even now, you know, we premiered Rocketman at Cannes, and I took my kind of 7 or 8 closest friends from school, as well as my girlfriend and my family, and we got invited to one of these very fancy parties afterwards, and we all got very drunk and demanded that everyone at the party listen to us all sing. And as obnoxious as it may sound, it's actually quite a magical experience doing that, and having a group of friends who you just have this kind of songbook in your back pocket that you can call on and sing. So I would say, if anything from Wales has found its way into my life as an actor, it's singing, I would say. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Justice from Chicago. My question is, what's your favorite costume in Rocketman?
My favourite in Rocketman?
Yeah.
It's not the one Chloe's wearing, because she looks better in it than I did. I do love the orange neoprene devil outfit, which I've had some incredible artwork and figurines of today, and I appreciate it all so much. But the one thing about it was, because it's covered in Swarovski crystals.
I'm sorry, what kind of crystals did you say?
Swarovski. I'd never even heard of a Swarovski crystal before that. We couldn't wash it, and we shot in the summer. So after about 3 months, it really, really smelled quite bad. So it was beautiful, but highly impractical. But probably that one. Yeah, I did. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So what you're saying is you were really ready for the tracksuit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, how are you?
Hi, my name is Taylor and I'm from California. And before my question, I just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done for like the LGBTQ community, and like your post about the Russians, like the censorship and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, okay, that's very sweet of you. I don't think I've done a great deal for the community, but I appreciate what you're saying, so thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, before my question, can you say gay rights for the community?
Gay rights?
Yes. Okay, so my question is, who is the Bernie to your Elton in your like real life? Like, who's your best friend?
That's really interesting. I know that you run a bit of a fan thing for me on Instagram. Yeah. So I know.
That's amazing.
So thank you for that. And I know. So you'll see, based on my. Come on now. So you'll have seen some of my friends on my Instagram and things, and I still have the same friends that I had when I was about 15 or something. So I have a group of guys who I turn to, and I try and keep them very close in my life, although we all live in different parts of the country, and so although there's probably not one, probably them as a collective are my close bosom buddies, and I know they're there if I need them.
You have a collective Bernie Taupin.
I have a gaggle of Bernie Taupins. Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, do I need to introduce myself?
Hi, Chloe.
Hi. My question is, what do you do as like hobbies? Like you're constantly like super busy.
Can you come? I'm saying it and I'm off mic.
Wow.
Can you come a little bit closer to the mic just so I can hear you a bit better?
Okay. So my question is, what you do as like a hobby? Because you're constantly busy. Like you were just in Glasgow, like what, 3 days ago? So like, what do you do as hobbies besides like acting and singing?
I don't know really. I go to the pub quite a lot. I like to read. I don't always look like it. I do a lot of exercise. I just don't eat very well. So yeah, so I'm kind of in the gym a lot, doing like cardio. But then I tend to go and eat pizza straight away. So, I don't know, normal things really. You know, my big passion, I would say, even because I'm not a musician, but I love music and I listen to music as soon as I get up in the morning, and I listen to music before I go to sleep. And basically, whenever it's socially acceptable for me to have headphones in, although I often get mocked for my headphones on
I hear
Instagram.
there's a whole like AirPod
There's a whole
situation.
thing. I don't fully understand it, but apparently it's really uncool to have corded earphones now in 2019. Apparently, but whenever it's socially acceptable, I'll have headphones in and I listen to music. And it makes me happy. Like today, I've had a song stuck. I'm a huge Joni Mitchell fan, and today I've been singing. Do you know this Canada by Joni Mitchell? I've just been excited about listening to it all day, and I'm going to listen to it as soon as I get in the car now. So music, probably listening to music. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, my name's Noroko. I'm from Michigan. And first thing, I have a friend that couldn't make it here, so I would like you to say hi to Talisha for me.
Talisha?
Yes.
Hi, Talisha. We're really sorry you can't be here. And this is the sound of a few hundred people saying hi, Talisha.
And also my question is, what do you feel that are the key steps that got you from like starting out acting to where you are right now?
I think
Because you started on stage.
I did start on stage. I went to a drama school in London where it was a sort of theatre training. I think meeting Matthew Vaughn was a real thing, and I often say to him that I don't think I'll ever not feel in his debt. He's just done so much for me and my career, and always been such a great support to me. So I'd say meeting Matthew Vaughn. I don't know really. I think it's those moments where, you know, because there's so many things that scare you. So the prospect of auditioning for drama schools scares you. Going for a big audition scares you. You know, I mean, I remember the first time that Elton asked me to go and sing with him. The immediate answer was no, I'm not doing that. No one. Why would I do that? That sounds terrifying. But I think when you can quiet that voice in your head and just take the leap, I think it more often than not, it's really worth it, and it ends up bringing good things to you. But I think that was a bit of a crap answer, but I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. I think taking risks is really good. Not like risks like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute, but like risks like creative risks and doing the things that frighten you are good. Hello.
Hi, I'm Wesley from Oregon, and I wanted to ask, you briefly mentioned that you used to draw when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Do you still do that, or do you just kind of...
Yeah, I do sometimes, but because I stopped doing it avidly when I was about 14, I draw like quite a good 14-year-old. So I mean, some of the artwork I've had today is light years ahead of me, but I think it was the same, the joy in creating a character as an actor and that kind of creative satisfaction was probably something similar to what I used to get when I was a kid I used to make like sculptures and things as well, and but no, I'm no great talent, I just enjoy it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bobby from the Philippines.
I remember you.
Thank you. First off, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You're amazing, and thank you for fighting for your scenes with Richard to fully be seen on Rocketman.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. So my question is, what was going through your head after the premiere of Rocketman in Cannes, and you got like kind of teary-eyed? Because it was a sweet video, like everyone.
I think a lot of it is about just a release. You know, you have all of this months and months. In fact, a year of hard work, and particularly with a musical, you know, there's months in studio spent before recording the songs, and months afterwards, in fact, doing the songs as well. And it has just felt so important to me on so many levels. Because although, you know, it's about Elton, when you act, you bring your own experiences to things and you bring your personality to it. And it's a role that really does lay you bare. You know, it's a very exposing role. And I think, you know, Cannes is known for sometimes its less than warm response to things. It can, I think I'm led to believe, I've not been there before, but there can sometimes be a less than welcoming reaction. And I was very nervous that people wouldn't like it. So when everyone expressed the fact that they did, or, you know, most people expressed the fact that they did, it was an incredibly kind of validating, gratifying thing. And I felt very emotional. And I'm quite an emotional person. I'm, you know, quite millennial in that sense, I suppose. You know, I'm not embarrassed about my feelings and expressing my feelings. And I did feel quite overcome. I also had my mum there, and my girlfriend, and my best friends, and my stepdad, and my auntie, and my cousin. Yeah, poor Paramount. I put quite a lot of pressure on them to bring people with me. But so, you know, it felt like I don't know, it just felt like quite a defining moment, and I felt really proud. And so, yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Leon, and I'm from the Philippines. And I just want to ask if you'd be open to having your own album, and if so, what genre would it be?
I think I would love to, but I don't play an instrument to any level of serious proficiency. It's something I'd really like to change in my life, and if I did do that and had the capacity to write songs, then yes, I would love to. But I wouldn't do an album of covers. I've effectively just done that, you know. So I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that. I think there's a lot of validity in reinventing things and regenerating ideas. But I think I'd want to create something of my own, and at the moment, I don't feel like I have the tools to do that. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sarah from Houston, Texas.
Hi.
Sorry for crying earlier.
That's okay.
I have to say, I really love the movie Eddie the Eagle.
Oh, yeah.
I've tried to show it to my students when I can. But my question for you is there a dream role from a Broadway musical that you would like to do, and why?
I think there are lots of roles I'd really like to play, and I'd love to do. When I was at drama school, I did a bit of. Do you know that Stephen Sondheim? He did Sweeney Todd and Sunday in the Park with George, and I heard that Jake Gyllenhaal's going off to do Sunday in the Park with George in London next year, and I felt really jealous and angry about it. And I'd like to do. I think maybe when I'm hopefully when I'm 40, I'll look like my dad, which is kind of like a bit, you know, rough and ready, and you know. And then I'd like to play Sweeney Todd. But right now, I think I look like the sort of Pokemon version of Sweeney Todd. So yeah, I'd like to do more. I'd like to do some Sondheim at the right time. Maybe Bobby from Company in a few years or something. And that's what I'd love to do. And then in terms of other roles, I just like doing different things. You know, I love the Marvel films. I would love to be a part of that world, as I think most actors would. And I want to just do things that are different from me. I like parts that are character parts, because that's where weirdly I feel safest. And I think when I've played things that are nearer to myself or less of a character, I just feel like they've been less successful. So I'd like to do more of that. Hey.
All right.
Hey, Taron.
This is when I become the least popular person in the room.
All right.
I am so sorry. He has lots of other autographs and pictures to take. So this is our last question. Make it good. There's a lot of pressure and a lot of jealous people, and you're on the screen so they know what you look like.
Well, sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
My name is Russ Layton. I'm from Alaska. And actually, being from a place that's relatively remote, I want to ask you about filming in remote locations. What's been your experience? What do you like about it? And when you do shoot in remote locations, do you take the time to go out and meet some of the locals?
Yeah, I mean, you know, probably the most remote place I've filmed is like maybe Western Germany on Eddie the Eagle, and that was truly, truly amazing and enchanting. And yeah, I do tend to find my way to the best local pub, and that is a great way of meeting local people. That does seem to be a kind of a repeating factor
It's very smart.
in my life.
I see nothing wrong with it.
But yeah, I think that's all. You know, it's one of the sad things about my job and like particularly PR stuff and marketing things is that you go to places so briefly. You know, like I arrived yesterday at 5:30, and I thought I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna see a bit of Seattle. I thought I'll just close my eyes for 10 minutes, and then I woke up at 4:20 this morning. So I've missed that chance, so I'll have to come back. But yeah, I think it's nice to try and get a flavour of the places you visit, and when you're somewhere for a longer period of time, you can do that. But should we do one more? Can we do one more?
We can do one more. Can we bring the mic? But just the mic itself,
Just
not
the mic.
stand.
Yeah, I feel a bit bad with all those people.
You know
I'm
what?
so sorry, guys.
One more. They got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've been trying to ask this since Phoenix.
Okay. Well, I'm glad this has worked out this way.
Okay.
That's why I was like, please, one more. So I'm Kristen from California.
I remember.
And my question is, of all the roles that you have gone out for in the past, not necessarily just with Matthew Vaughn, but in general, which one are you most upset that you did not land?
To be honest, most of the high-profile ones have been more about the one that I didn't get that I was heartbroken about was a movie called Billy Lynn's Long Half-Time Walk that I actually got so near to that I kind of maybe I misunderstood things, but I sort of had thought that it was my role, and that's what I felt like I was led to believe had happened, and then it went to a fantastic actor named Joe Alwyn. But at the time, I was really heartbroken, and I've never been able to watch the movie. But then the other things were more like publicized things that I didn't get were more a kind of an amicable parting of ways. Actually, more me bowing out of the race because I felt that I knew who the other candidates were and they were better for the role or whatever it was, you know. But I'm also quite good at as an actor, you have to develop. It's weird as an actor because you have to have simultaneously a very thin skin because you have to sort of lay yourself bare on camera, but then you also have to have a very thick skin because there's so much rejection. And so I've developed this. I think I'm quite good at emotionally disengaging myself from the things that I don't get. I think you have to be, otherwise you're going to lose your mind. So the other things that haven't gone my way, and there have been quite a few of them. It's fine. It's all good. I've been very lucky in so many ways. So. Thank you.
As always,
Thank you.
thank you. We have one more thing to do. We
Yeah.
gotta take a picture.
Yeah,
Everyone
let's
stand
do-
up for me. Put 'em right here. Oh, that was awesome. Thank you.